Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. With respect to the high-profile, highly sealed case of State of Idaho versus Brian C. Kohberger, the rhetorical question that we pose is, what exactly has changed in this case to cause the court to not follow through with the December 18th, 2025 court order directing the unsealing of dozens and dozens of documents from the case for January, February, and March of 2025. Today, nearly 5 months after that court order was issued, only one of those documents were unsealed, and that happened back in February of 2026. Rest continue to remain sealed to the public. By way of background, there were and are countless documents, including evidence, and also Brent Turvey's expert report that is under seal from the public. When Mr. Kohberger entered his plea of guilty, as he did on July 2nd, 2025, that resulted in the Media Coalition filing 2 documents in the case. Number 1, asking Judge Hippler to rescind the non-dissemination order that has been put into effect since the early days of the case. The second motion was a request, supported by a declaration by a journalist, to unseal the case immediately on the grounds of the First Amendment. Since Mr. Kohberger had pled guilty, there was no longer a legitimate reason to continue to seal the case on the grounds that it would poison the case after Mr. Kohberger's change of plea. Judge Hippler had a hearing on the Media Coalition's noticed motion to set aside the gag order in July of 2025, when he announced and then issued an order setting aside the gag order. But what he did also was render a ruling from the bench on a matter that was not noticed, the matter of unsealing the case. He announced that he would be looking at documents from the end of the case on backwards and making rulings individually on whether documents should continue to remain sealed to the public or should be unsealed. He issued thereafter 2 orders, one in August and one in September, dealing with months of July and June as to that first order, and then April and May as to the second order. And thereafter, after receiving feedback from the parties, he entered orders unsealing certain documents from July, June, April, and May. He issued the third court order, this time dealing with the months of January, February, and March, and after receiving input from the parties for a third time, entered an order December 18th, directing the unsealing of dozens upon dozens of documents from the first quarter of 2025. That court order has never been rescinded, although there were subsequent efforts from the state of Idaho to convince Judge Hippler to relook at that court order, which is under seal to the public, and the court did issue an order in 2026 stating that certain documents from that group would be unsealed with redactions. He has not unsealed anything from that third court order, with the exception of one document that was unsealed in February of 2026. Nor has Judge Hippler entered a fourth court order looking at documents from the end of 2024. What has changed since December 18th, 2025? Mr. Kohberger is not appealing this case. There was no other co-conspirator, alternative perpetrator, accessory before the fact, accessory after the fact, that has even been hinted at by the state of Idaho. What has changed since December 18th in this case to cause a stop in the unsealing of anything in a case that has been closed almost a year now? We will continue to monitor the situation and advise you as further developments arise. Thank you for joining us here today.